Hello,
Got it.
what's up, and welcome to the first episode of the No Consolation podcast. I'm joined here by my friends Freddy, Danny, and Shell. How you boys doing today?
Doing pretty good. How's everyone else feeling? Shell, Fred?
Feeling like a villain, my guy. Ready to go.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it.
It is what it is. Let's do it.
Very different mindsets. There we go.
No, it's
Freddie,
good.
Freddie is feeling
good.
very ambivalent about his involvement in NCP.
No, I'm fine. I'm
Shell
fine.
is just straight chilling.
But yeah, this is the first episode of the show we're going to be doing in conjunction with the League No Consolation, which will be running on Twitch, YouTube, and pretty much just like any platform you can imagine. We got a lot of awesome stuff coming out. My boy Shell down there has been designing a website. We got a couple really fun tournaments planned. But this show is basically just going to be about everything going on in the league. We hope to like get as many of these boys here on every episode as we can. If not, we'll fill with guests and just, you'll get to know the lads a little bit more later, but it's just, a little bit more of a showcase for our personalities. So does anyone want to talk a little bit about like the history of No Consolation? What sort of brought us to this moment?
Yeah. So I mean, as you think about, a group of guys gaming, you don't think it'll kind of evolve to here, but that's kind of where this all started. I mean, we've all been playing games together for 7 years at least for some of us, and it just kind of became like a weekend pastime. One of the days on the weekend we'd get together when we were all off in college and play games. And uh recently over COVID, that got a little stronger as everyone was stuck indoors, so all of us kind of came together to play like different games and just have fun with custom games and things like that. And we had the thought of, why don't we turn it into like a little competition, stream it, put out the videos for it, do a little extra stuff for it, and let our entertainment value, let all the different personalities we have shine. So that's kind of where this all started, uh, just from that little playing every weekend to coming into this. So it's something that it's very casual, but at the same time, there's definitely some competitors in the group that will always always go hard.
I think we've played
But
like pretty much like every game you can imagine during that time frame. It's crazy to think about it being like 8 years that some of us have been playing together, like starting maybe with FIFA, Battleborn,
yeah,
um,
some old
a
games.
number of titles. I know my man Freddy over there has played a lot of Fortnite in his day. A bunch of us used to play a lot of Fortnite.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and then Shell's a bit more of a newer edition in RL Grinder. But everyone's
yeah.
kind of got like their own skill set and their own things that they're specialized in. But we all play a lot of different stuff, and so I think that'll lend nicely. We have too many different ideas. I say is probably our big problem of about what
Yeah.
stuff we could do. So
Yep.
I think it's interesting. I think we pick up people as we play more games.
mhm.
Like Shell was a big addition when we got into the Rocket League customs. We like gained Jacob when we started in our Fortnite grinding days. That picked up Jacob, and I mean he plays the Rocket League with us now. He plays Overwatch. Like we just picked up so many different people from switching games, and everyone, we have so many people that play so many different games now. That we have so many ideas.
And like before you guys, I played League of Legends. I played Destiny.
yeah.
I used to grind Destiny when it came
Destiny
out. I
grinder.
played so much. But I've always been more of a story game guy. But then I started playing with y'all on in Rocket League and Overwatch and stuff, and been enjoying that. So
What was it like, kind of joining the group, Shell?
I guess, well, it was. I mean, we were friends in high school and stuff, so we got along. I always like felt a good, strong connection, and always thought of you guys as friends. It's just when I went to college, I guess we kind of lost touch a little bit. And then during COVID, I know I was always really good friends with Gabe, and he put me in touch with you guys. So, um, and then I just kind of rekindled that connection we had from the past. So
It's just such a mystery, man, Gabe. I think there's at least 2 people in this group who have come into this group because Gabe, for approximately 1 week, was like, "Hey, let's all play this game," and got everyone to play the game, and then abruptly disappeared off the face of the earth for a couple of months.
Yeah, that's Gabe for you. He don't. You try talking to him, and he's there all the time. But when you try to text him, like just see how he's doing, he ghosts you, and you think he might be dead. So
He's a busy man. We'll see if he ever makes
He's
an
a busy
appearance
man.
in NCP. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point he touches no consolation, but it's not going to be very consistent. So he's an enigma in that regard.
we'll probably get him for an event.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
I
definitely.
hope so.
Somewhere down the road, the Halo
Yeah.
event, big Halo Infinite guy. So
Don't
might make
spoil
it there.
anything now. You got to keep them guessing.
Also, too, I mean, massive thanks to Autumn for doing like the artworort for No Consolation so far.
Yes,
Yes.
thank
But
you, Autumn. Thank you, Autumn.
Gabe is an extremely talented artist in his own right. So in the future we might reach out to him to maybe, especially if there's something specific that he's more involved with, get him to work on it. But in general, I'm just trying to like drain and abuse the goodwill of all the talented people in my life, and Gabe is one of them. So I got to make sure I do that. I don't want to make any hard promises, but I am in talks with someone to try and get a No Consolation theme song made.
I know who it is.
Yeah.
I know who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
That would
want
be sick if you get.
like I said, it's all based off goodwill. I don't pay anyone, so I can't, hold it over anyone's head whether or not they do it or not. But I have asked, so we may have a song at some point.
Oh my
That
That would be
gosh.
massive.
I
That
can't
would be
wait.
massive.
But like Danny was saying, it's kind of always just been like very natural, very organic. And then sometime last year, one of the other members in the group, Colin, and I had a Rocket League podcast. And we were trying to run a tournament with our listeners to the podcast, and we also just wanted to fill out with the boys, so we put out the request. And we had a couple of our listeners join, which is actually super cool, but it was primarily just filled with our like good friends. And Colin and I just needed a lot of help like hosting and casting the event, and so it just happened like purely on the spot. People didn't really know what they were signing up for. Colin and I didn't know, but there came a time where Colin and I were playing against each other. We're like, crap, we need someone else to cast this game. And so I just like sent a message like, hey, do you mind like hopping on the mic to someone like who didn't really have like any background or experience like in esports or casting? I think Danny was one of the first people to do it. And you just like stepped up to the plate, knocked it out of the park, and just like over time, more and more people have like raised their engagement with it. And so we have a little bit of experience going into the first events, which is fun. But Danny, what has your experience been like, sort of casting and becoming more involved?
Yeah, I remember the when you guys did that and we're like, holy crap, we don't have anyone. You texted the group chat, and then Jacob immediately jumped on it too. He was in the booth with me.
Yeah.
And that was when he jumped on it, I jumped on it because that's a great man to cast with. And when we went back and listened to our casting, it was real rough around the edges,
Mhm.
but it was fun. It was really fun to do that sort of thing. So after that, as you know, like Jacob and I are very okay with like coming in the casting booth. He definitely gets pulled in there for the interviews and the events we've done in the past couple of months for No Consolation, and that engagement was definitely something that like enriched the experience because it also gave us like something to do outside of the game that still like interacts with ourselves and everyone else who's playing in the tournaments. So it definitely was something I didn't think was like I was gonna like, or like something that was gonna like I was gonna keep doing, but it was definitely a fun experience. And I know Shell's been in the booth some too, coming in there, and he's knocked it out of the park, as well.
Not
With a
just
little bit of Freddy sprinkled in.
Shell hasn't just been in the booth. He was our wheel expert
Yeah,
extraordinaire,
wheel
Dr.
expert.
Professor Wheel.
Doctor,
Knock that roll out of the
Professor
park.
Indiana Wheel.
Dr. Professor Indiana Wheel.
Wait, I think I have the hat somewhere around here.
Find it real quick.
That's
Let's
a
see if I
top
can
tier
find.
hat.
Wait,
And
it's
also
somewhere.
too that
Oh,
was
I
for
see
the
it.
that was for the most recent event we ran, which unfortunately there is no VOD of. So if anyone ever actually listens to
Yeah.
this and goes back and goes searching for that, can't
He's
find it.
back.
There it
He's
is.
back.
Can't
I
find
found the
it.
hat.
But that too, we asked Shell if he could be to run the wheel, and then Shell ended up pretty much essentially co-hosting the event,
Yeah.
which was awesome.
Yep, it was pretty fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And Freddy, you've done some casting the past two events. I think you cast the grand finals of a Rocket League tournament we ran, and we're primary host for that. What do you like about like casting or hosting, Freddy?
Well, I love being able to like actually like talk about it as I do it. So like I'm not the best when we do this stuff when it comes to playing, like especially with the Rocket League turns. I'm at the bottom of the barrel. I'm not that great. So, but I do know what's happening and I can commentate on what's happening in the game, despite the fact I'm not that good at it. But it's just a lot of fun. I used to a while ago when I was figuring out what I wanted to do with my life, I thought maybe I was gonna go into sports broadcasting. So I learned about broadcasting, all that stuff. I learned how to kind of just talk about the game and naturally and bring up random stuff. I mean, hell, I gave a shout out to your Austin, your old podcast when without even knowing that it was no longer a thing. It just came out of nowhere, and I thought I'd mention it, but apparently it's no longer a
Good
thing.
old
So
talking cardball.
Has
the
been for
talking
about a year.
cardball. So yeah, it's just like it's just it's a lot of fun. I like doing it, and I wish on the one VOD we had, you could hear me more better because we had some audio problems. But it was a lot of fun either way. It was just fun.
Yeah, we're continuing to learn and improve along the process, and especially now too that we got like a bigger team of people involved, not just us, like other people in the group, like helping with like broadcasts and stuff like that.
Mhm.
The more like sort of stuff gets like dispersed around, like the better we can do. And so I apologize for that, but at the same time, I was also completely like overrun with stuff to do. So
No, you're good, man. You're
hopefully-
Yeah,
good.
this all started with you doing a lot of the stuff on your own, and as one of the people who's now one of the 4 people helping you do this, that's a lot of stuff. So
Yeah, that's a lot.
there's no worry about that.
Dude, the last event we did it was called the triathlon. That's the one with the lost VOD footage. And so we had this idea for like we all play like pretty like 3 of the core games our group plays is Fortnite, Overwatch, and Rocket League. And so we're like, let's do like a tournament like across like all 3. Like people draft teams and you gotta like draft based off, like ability across all 3 games. Like it'll be super, super fun. And like I was like, that's awesome. Like, we should be able to make that work. And I didn't like got like so excited in the idea that I didn't really realize how hard it would be to sort of like go between like 3 different games. And then on top of that, we were like, okay, it's like way more fun like when we can broadcast like a spectator perspective rather than just mine because it's coming from my PC. And so I was like, okay, if I set up like the broadcast on my PC, then I can play on my Xbox on the side. But that means every time we're about to play, I've got to get both my PC account in the lobby and my Xbox account in the lobby, all while I'm also co-hosting the event with Freddy. And so that was the idea. And then I was like, okay, like I'll have my monitor and then I can have my Xbox running on the TV next to me. But in the couple days before the event, my girlfriend broke my TV. Well, no, she broke her TV, not my TV, our collective TV, but it's hers more than mine. So no hard feelings about that. And so then I was doing everything that I just said, except I was doing it all on one monitor. And I don't have like a remote to change the input on my monitor because it's like HDMI 1 and HDMI 2.
Yeah.
So like when you lose your remote to your TV and you got to press the buttons on the TV.
It's a little button.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
So annoying.
every time I wanted to switch between perspectives, I had to press the buttons and shift over to the other thing, and that also meant that I couldn't see when we were playing games. I could not see what the production broadcast was because I was on the other input, and so I had like the little stream going on my phone, but that's on like a 45-second delay. And like people are like texting me and messaging me like, hey, like the spectator like thing isn't like moving. I'm like, great, I can't do anything about that. I'm sorry. That's cool and all. I appreciate you looking out for me. And so that like obviously was, a big learning experience for us. We're gonna hopefully not bite off more than we could chew. And there were some other technical difficulties that weren't anticipated in that. But all that's being said, we're learning a lot, and well, hopefully every event is a little bit more manageable
Yeah.
and a little
I
bit
think
more
that's
streamlined.
even with the what was going on with the second one, the first no consolation tournament we did in just Rocket League had its own share of problems too, and we improved upon those in the second one. So we're making strides with everyone. So eventually it'll be decently seamless. We'll
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah,
Austin, can I ask real quick how Autumn broke the TV?
I believe she stepped on it.
How how did she step on the
How does that
TV?
Yeah,
step on it?
I wasn't there, so I can't talk about the specifics of how the TV was stepped on. But if I had to guess,
It's fine. We'll get her on as a guest and we'll ask her.
yeah. If she ever comes on as a guest, you guys can ask her. But I'm guessing she was cleaning off her desk, moved the TV down to the ground, and it was not in the best condition anyway. So it's not the worst thing to have to replace it. But the timing could have been better. If there was a time to step on a TV, it wasn't then. But there's probably isn't ever a time to step on a TV.
No, probably not. But that was an especially bad time for that.
Yeah. But I think definitely for the future, we're getting better, and we got a pretty honestly a pretty decently sized vision for what we want to do with this, like even like
Mhm.
in the short term. So we're planning on doing we're gonna call it season 1 of about 5 or 6 events over the next couple months. And so we're gonna try and change up the game every single time, especially kind of like we were talking about. Different people have different specialties, and so hopefully this will give like more people like different chances to compete in different titles, and sort of like cross the boundaries of sort of like more fun games and more competitive games. What events on the horizon are y'all looking out for?
I mean, the Fall Guys tournament coming up
Mm-hmm.
this next weekend. The Big Fall is definitely an interesting one. Uh, we definitely have a few people who play that game a little more than others, but I'd say overall that game's decently even. Especially since it's not a really complicated game. It definitely gets the energy high from some of the people who tempt to not have as high energy, which when we were playing it the other weekend, I think it'll be a really fun tournament all around. I think a lot of good energy. It's kind of a goofy game, so in those games there tends to be pretty high energy from the group. That's definitely one that I'm excited for.
I'm excited for the Among Us tournament or the Among Us Among Us event because I during COVID, me and my roommates in college were stuck in our townhouse for a couple months, and every night we would play Secret Hitler, which is a game similar to Among Us, where you have liberals and fascists, but it's a more of a speaking game where you kind of have to lie and be deceitful and kind of like navigate everything. And I think Among Us would be really fun, especially with all the personalities we have in this group and just the dynamic we have. I think it could be really, really fun.
Yeah.
That's very
Um.
true.
So I'm personally looking forward to a few potential Fortnite things we have going, but I'm mainly excited for the Halo tournament that we have planned to eventually do. I've been grinding a lot of Halo recently to get ready for this thing because I know there's like a very large skill gap. So, but I love playing Halo a lot, so, even though I haven't played it recently up until we started talking about this. But it's really fun, and I can't wait for that.
Yeah, what's Halo like nowadays? I haven't played Halo in probably a good year and a half.
Roughly
It's
the
it's
same as it always has been.
it's I mean, yeah, it's the same as it has been, but they've streamlined. They kind of you remember that time where in Halo 5 wasn't super popular and they were just cycling all the like really fun game modes to try and get people to come back. It's
Yeah.
not like that now. So like they
Yeah.
have like the Husky Raid game mode, the Fiesta game mode, and stuff like that, constantly in their rotation. Since even for Infinite, because Infinite doesn't get many players,
Hmm.
but it's kind of like that.
I think
So it's got all the fun stuff.
the, I think the mobility has gotten better a little bit because you've got like a little dash now, and you can like grab onto ledges and pull yourself up. I think that might have been like in Halo
Yeah,
5 as well, but
Yeah, that's a thing that they have in there. There's like these special like sort of augment things that you have on like next to your like grenade slots that you can
Mhm,
find on the ground, equip, and you like. There's a grappling hook one. There's a boost one. There's an invisibility one. There's something like a dash and a heavy slam one. There's a few of them.
The grappling hook is pretty fun,
Yeah.
especially if you have like a sword or a gravity hammer.
Oh yeah.
You could just take that into someone. You can attach it to like a person, and
Yeah.
then just like go into them.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, the execution thing from previous games is no longer a thing. It seems so.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that was the biggest letdown of Halo Infinite. All the movement stuff they did was like super cool. That they, everyone didn't like the movement in Halo 5 for the most part,
Yeah.
but Halo Infinite kind of like streamlined those movements, but they got rid of one of the staples. I think mainly because Call of Duty picked up executions for Warzone. I think that pressured Halo to drop it. And that is a tragedy.
I think
But then
also
at the same. No, sorry. Go ahead.
didn't they go from like an M rating down to a T rating too? If
Yeah, I think so because I think they rated the campaign in M still, but the multiplayer was a T because they dropped the blood in it.
mhm.
It's probably because they dropped the assassinations, so
Yeah,
they're
Yeah.
probably
definitely.
like,
No,
They-
no
Yeah.
assassinations, no blood. Yeah, some of them were pretty brutal in 5. There were some.
yeah.
12-year-old me was like, what is going on? Like, why does he have to punch that man so many times before he stabs him? But anyway, this is a good like launching pad for our sister podcast, No Constellation Halo, which we will definitely be doing in the future, where we
Mhm.
specifically talk about the game development side of Halo. But
Beautiful.
just to loop back to Fall Guys, because the big fall is the event that we have on the horizon. I think one of the really cool things about it is we had never run, we've run very few customs in Fall Guys before. We've just like played in public lobbies, and there you're mainly like working collaboratively, especially since they like added the other modes other than just solos. And so I think it's gonna add an interesting flavor to the mix of not it's not just Fall Guys, but it's Fall Guys against the boys. And there's a lot of trolling you can do in Fall Guys, and some people don't like that.
Some people feed off of that in our group too. There are some exclusively trolls in this group in Fall Guys.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that aspect of it. I'll say
There's
that.
some headhunters,
Oh yeah.
There are.
and they pretty much decide on a whim who they
Eric makes
target.
Eric makes me very nervous. I'll say that.
Yeah, we'll have to. We still haven't ironed out the details of how we're gonna pick teams, but that's gonna be a very interesting dynamic going in. Do you want like one runner and one troll? Do you want to just like try and assemble the best team possible? Do you want two trolls and then you're just purely just agents of chaos? I don't know. There's a lot to consider.
If
lo-
Hamilton and Jacob get on the same team, it's gonna be dangerous. Those boys are gonna be taking heads.
Mm.
It's similar,
It-
like it's crazy because like you know about the Eric factor that we've previously discussed, and we'll discuss further in once we go over the roster. But now you have two more people who are just have that factor as well of just wild card unpredictability.
Very true. Very true.
Um, do we want to just go straight on in? We're kind of hinting at people without like
Let's do it.
any real context.
Yeah.
So do we want to
Everyone's
Yeah.
probably
go
everyone's
into
probably
the
so
boys?
confused.
Yeah. So we got a little PowerPoint prep for y'all.
High quality.
All the major players in our league. There might be some guests here and there, but these are going to be sort of these are the people who I expect to be there for the most part, day in, day out. So you want to go ahead and kick that off?
Yep, sounds good. We have
So,
roughly there's like roughly 10 of us who's
Mhm.
kind of that core group, and then there's roughly 3 or 4 who will probably come in once in a blue moon. Gabe being one of them for a tournament.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll have to see too. One of my favorite parts about when we did the podcast tournaments is that when we did open it up to the community, we had about 2 or 3 people show interest. And so, like we got like a core of people who we can expect to be consistent, but by no means are we closed off. We love incorporating people and just having fun with it.
Yeah, the more the merrier, always.
So, Freddy, you want to take it away with the start of our player profiles?
Sure. So, coincidentally, the first person obviously is Austin, Mr. Knapstack himself. So, so for his first bullet point, he's dependable. I mean, he's the one who got us all together to set up this podcast. He's a great person. He's a great friend, and he's the person you would want most in your corner at times when you need someone. So we all love him for that, and we love that he is able to be there for us like that. Second of all, he's an animal lover. I don't know if you could see in the background, but he might have a little furry companion back there named Clover, who is his girlfriend Autumn's dog, who we met recently and fell in love with. But he also has his own dog named Doug. He's adorable, named after the Doug from the movie Up, I believe, if memory serves me correct. If that's why he did it.
Correct.
But yeah, but yeah, that's just an interesting thing. And then champion, Austin is very good at games, and in almost every single tournament or event we've had involving gaming, he has either finished first or second in every single attempt. I think he's 2 for 3 overall, because the first one he was with me and we lost, unfortunately. But yeah, and I do want to pick, but overall he's a fierce competitor, nasty in Rocket League, just the best player I've personally seen and played with. But I do want to put a side mention onto a wet category. It's a joke in between in this group that we will probably explain later, but I just wanted to shout that out, and also to mention the picture on the right. Austin, can you please explain what that picture is from?
Okay. So this is actually one of the greatest tragedies of my life that you're looking at right there. That is of the night when the college I went to won the national championship. And it had been a long night of celebrating. I was very, very happy. And my friend and I were doing dares of we were just at that point we were unintelligible. But basically we were just trying to think of public ways we could shame ourselves by calling ourselves manatees. And I had a glass of water in my hand. That is my hand in the picture. I will never dispute that. And I was recording a video saying, I'm a manatee. I'm a manatee. And my friend grabbed my arm and used my own hand to dunk water on myself. After that video went public, everyone I know was like, why'd you dump water on yourself? Why'd you dump water on yourself? I didn't. I will go down to my grave defending that. I was framed. That is my hand, but it was not under my control.
I am a firm believer, as someone who saw that video that night, that he did indeed dump water on himself. That he was not forced to do so.
And the worst part is my friend who did it, he refuses to acknowledge it.
Oh, yeah,
what he
will
did
not
to me.
acknowledge it whatsoever.
He refuses. It is just every time I look at that picture, a little part of me dies, just knowing the public will never. I was gonna make an OJ joke, but not gonna do that. We digress.
Well, speaking of pictures that make you want to die, what about the other half of that picture, Austin? How do you feel about that one?
I mean, I just look good. Like
Middle school Austin.
Nothing more to say that. You can tell it's someone about to give the performance of a lifetime. I'm a very outside of this, I'm a very well accomplished actor, playwright, and that's just a little piece of myself that I like to sort of keep private. But that was my first introduction to theater, and it's never stopped since. I just love the show.
A little nugget of information here. If you see that arm in front of Austin, that may or may not be me. So
undetermined whether or not that is his arm or not, but he feels pretty confident that little elbow is his.
We have hired a detective to find the original picture to see if it is true.
Yeah, we need well, we don't need 2 detectives. We need the detective for 2 cases.
That's true.
We have two unsolved crimes. we need a Photoshop detective.
We need our own Kowalski
Yeah.
to analyze both of these pictures.
I want to know if there's any shadows in the background of my glass picture.
Okay, wait. Is there a mirrored image in the glass? Who knows?
Oh man.
Plastic glass. I don't think so.
Yeah. Any money
don't
we
know.
make off the start of this will all go towards hiring the best private investigator we can find.
Yeah. We'll solve the problem eventually.
A little evidence for that being me, my arm in front of Austin, is I was short back then, and I still am, but I was shorter than Austin, and I do look to be. That person does look to be, in fact, shorter than Austin.
Oh,
But
man.
that's all I have going for me right now.
I'm going to spend the rest of this podcast just digging for that picture.
Trying to find the evidence.
I'm genuinely
Well-
curious now.
It's gonna be
Well-
really embarrassing if it's someone else, because that would be kind of crazy.
Yeah. So that's Austin. Do we maybe want to move on to the next person, Shell?
Sure. All right. We got Danny, the man in the bottom left on my screen. He is look at his legendary pose there on the left. It really
God,
just
it's so
Don't know
legendary.
how you guys got that picture.
We have our
That's-
sources.
That's at my house, and I think I was with my neighbor Aiden at the time, and I don't know how one of you managed to find that picture.
We
It's-
have our ways, Danny.
it's just such a good picture of you.
Why are
It's
you
such a good
why
personality pick?
are you so low?
Dude, I don't know. We were just having a time, and I don't. One of those times where you just kind of black out doing random shit, and that was definitely one of the times, and I still don't know how you got that photo.
I would love to see this on your Tinder profile. I think that's a perfect Tinder photo.
If I make a Tinder, that's the first photo I'm putting on there.
And then, of course, the picture on the right is just you cheesing. You're absolutely cheesing.
Babyface
Big
Dan.
big cheesing. Yeah, dude. If I shave, I still have baby face. It's a big issue.
Mm.
I have to keep the facial hair on, or else I revert back to senior year of high school, Danny.
Oh yeah,
I could live with
classic.
that. I could live with that.
I will say this though. One time he did have to shave, and he had a goatee for a solid day and a half, and it was something.
Yeah, I'm like I said, the goatee at least makes no baby face. If I go no facial hair, it comes back.
Oh yeah, I know. So for that first bullet point of dominating, it's just part of his name. He's dominating in all the category. He's dominant in all the categories of games we play, or at least the ones we played so far. I think it'll be interesting going throughout the season and seeing the different games we play and how talented he'll be in those. Because on the core games we play, he's always one of the top dogs. So you never know what you're gonna get when you go to the other games, and you never know what you're gonna see. But he'll always be, if not average, better than average in every game he plays. So
Danny, is that
That's
what
just-
the first D in your name stands for? Dog Dominator?
Dog owner. That's that name. I remember the origin of that name because it was in middle school when I first got my Xbox, and I was first allowed to get Xbox Live by my parents, who were adamantly against it originally when I got my Xbox because they didn't want me talking to random people, which was super sick. And
Smart parents.
eventually convinced them, all right, I want to play with my friends. I'll pay for my own Xbox Live, whatever. And then I was trying to come up with a name, and I was like, I want it to have Dominator in it. Like I'm gonna dominate the games. Little middle school Danny, big confident. But I wanted it to be like the Dominator or something like that. But all the variations of the Dominator or anything like that were taken. And so I went to my parents and I asked how could I be the what sounds like the Dominator? And they were like, well, D Dominator kind of sounds like the. It's kind of a little slant rhymish in a way, which was really stretching it. But that's where the D came from. It's supposed to be like the Dominator, but it's a D.
Oh, like
Yeah.
a DA, like
Yeah,
Dominator.
but that was
Mm.
taken, so we just double D Dominator.
True
So-
visionaries at work.
When I first saw the name, I'm not gonna lie, I thought you were getting some Dominic Toretto vibes, from Fast and the Furious. You know what? Like if you shaved all your hair off your head and your face, I don't know, I could see it. If you put them side by side, I could see some Dominic Toretto vibes. All right.
Oh, hold on.
I
He's
have
also
to be able to look later.
he's also got to wear a tank top, white tank top. Speak very low and just constantly saying family, as we all know. So
Yeah, I don't know if I have a white tank top, but I might have to eventually later in my years see the look, see how close it is.
Yeah. And so the next bullet point we have here is spiffy. And as you can see in the right picture, that really just
Spiffy.
describes the spiffiness that that Danny embodies.
Jill, you do know that in that actual picture there are like 7 other of us, right?
Yes, I am aware.
Yeah, but who's looking spiffy?
All right, that's fair.
Me.
You do look spiffy.
Look at
I
that
mean-
smile. I'm so
I mean, that picture on the left too. You're looking pretty spiffy, my guy.
God, he's
Look at that-
spiffy.
different
that-
kind of spiffy.
That pose gets me going, my guy. All right.
I don't know why I'm so low.
Are your knees okay?
Bring up a it just has to be face-offs. Like that's what it comes down to. Like lacrosse
Mm.
face-offs must have lowered my center of gravity in high school.
Danny, can you still do that pose today?
No.
I will say that also
Break
gives me
my knees.
that picture also gives me Dominic Toretto vibes. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
there we go.
it's giving me the vibes. Like he's got the car in the background. He's kneeled down like that.
Oh my God, yeah.
Caught
It's like
me.
you just
I
stole like
actually-
$1 million from a bank and about to give it to your family.
Yeah, you caught me. I'm actually a huge Dominic Toretto fan.
The conspiracy gets grows even more.
Danny just won't stop talking about his family.
That's all I ever talk about.
So the next bullet point we have here is guns. I'm not quite sure what people were getting at with the guns, but he's got some absolute cannons. Like you can kind of see him on the picture on the left. You know what I mean? Like he's got some
Oh,
absolute
no.
cannons.
I was also just like when I typed that, I was just hinting at just like any game that has guns in it.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Danny is just a freaking natural. And going back to the D Dominator origin, when you were first starting to play online games, didn't you get in addition to your parents not wanting you to play online games, didn't you get invited to like a pro or like semi-pro like Halo tournament, and they didn't let you play?
Yeah. I was a big Halo guy when I was a kid because I wasn't allowed to play M-rated games pretty much until I was allowed to play online. And before that, the only M-rated game I was allowed to play was Halo because of the fact that it was M, but there was only a little bit of blood in multiplayer. I wasn't allowed to play the campaign. And so for probably 5 years of my youth, I spent most every week, at least once a week, going to my cousin's house who owned an Xbox and who owned Halo. And the 5 of us playing Halo together in custom games for 6 or 7 hours. So then once I was finally able to play Halo on my own Xbox online, it turned out I was actually really good at Halo. And I was invited, it was a semi-pro tournament thing, which at the time it wasn't for a money, it was just it was a tournament inviting good players to showcase the game and stuff. And my parents were not good with that. But I do have roots in shooter games, and I've always been good at those kinds of games, probably because of that.
Dan, be honest. You played the campaign anyway, didn't you?
We don't need to talk about that.
Which one was it, by the way? I'm actually curious. Which one did you start with that?
I
semi-pro
started
tournament?
playing at my cousin's house on Halo 3 ODST. And
Yeah, that
then
makes sense.
That's a weird.
uh,
That's a weird one to start on.
yeah, no, it is, but that was the one they had that was the one that came out when I first started playing, I think. And
Uh,
then the one we played the most over the 5 years was Halo Reach
oh,
because
the
the
Forge. Oh,
the
the
Forge on Halo
Forge is
Reach
so
was
good.
unmatched, and the
The
custom games you could
Forge.
make. We mainly played like Infected or like games like
Firefight.
that.
You play
Firefight,
Fire.
yeah.
Oh, it's so fun.
Just yeah, so many custom games to choose from. That was the Halo Reach was the game of choice overall.
For the
All
record,
right.
he's the one who makes me the most nervous when it comes to the Halo tournament.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Um.
easily.
Yeah. I think that's it for Danny, though. We can move on to the next person.
Yeah,
Whoever wants to
we're
do
going
that.
through all of us first, so we're going right into Shell.
Oh no.
And these are some high quality pictures of Shell. First off, I'd like that to be stated.
I don't even
Uh,
know that second one.
the second one is I loved that version of Shell, like kind of like the half bowl cut in the front.
Oh, yeah, you
That's
know
one of
it.
my favorite
You
Shells
know it.
from back in the day.
The
But
visor.
Shell, the visor, yeah. The first bullet point, he's a vibe master. He's never gonna get really down on a game. He's never gonna really get uh quiet or kind of hidden in the corner while everyone else is talking. Shell is always kind of in the forefront of the vibes, having a good time with the boys. Uh, Rain or shine, he's there to have fun. So he's probably one of the uh vibiest members of the group. We have some others who definitely play for exclusively the vibes and never get down, but Shell's definitely one of the top ones. He's very humble. Just in his life and in games, he never will, chat too much shit about, himself. He'll chat shit to some other people, some friendly banter, but overall, like through his gameplay and through his life, he's a very humble person, and that's what we love about him. And then Doctor, that one could be taken a couple ways. Shell is very much kind of an anchor in many games. And in many games we play, there is a healer format, and he definitely is the doctor of the team. Like I said, he keeps those vibes up for the team. If the team's feeling down, he's there to fix it. And in things like Rocket League, you make a mistake, and someone's wide open on goal. Shell's in goal. He's ready to fix the wound. So in that regard, he's a true doctor. Uh, and Shell, can we see that haircut sometime in the future? Again,
Bring
that's
back
a personal request. Bring back the visor.
bowl cut. The bowl cut. Oh my gosh, the coconut hair. I rocked that.
Coconut.
I rocked it. All right.
You did indeed rock it. You
Um,
did.
I could give some more context a little bit to that picture
Yeah,
on the right.
Please,
Go ahead.
please.
Go ahead.
Please.
So I think I remember when that picture was taken. So when I think that was sophomore or freshman year of high school. This was like me getting started with the robotics team, and like I don't
Oh,
remember
yeah.
who was going around,
man.
but we were in like the FTC First Tech Challenge tournament. This was like smaller robots just kind of getting into it, which later I would then start the full robotics competition team, and it was really and that's when we really shined, and like I started the whole robotics team, but I digress from that. So that was me, like I was building something with like the Lego robotics like pieces, and someone took a picture and posted it somewhere. I don't know who it was or why. I think it was probably for our school. It was probably like something to promote like STEM learning in our school, and so that's how it became public.
Yeah, I think I got that off FA's or our high school's page. I think it was like a promotional content for FA robotics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I recognize that from I remember that being like a post the robotics had put out. The other picture show, that might be the most forced smile I've ever seen in my life. And I
Oh,
can't decide if it's
100%.
because I can't
Fuck.
decide if it's because you're about to shit yourself because you're gonna go like ziplining or something, or like
No.
what's going on?
That's the fakest smile I've ever seen from you ever.
So, we went. Me and my family. We went to this ropes course, and we were just doing everything. I was just vibing, doing. We did the first like. There's like it was like a 3-tiered ropes course. So I did the
Okay.
first round. I did everything pretty easily. So I went to the second round. I did everything pretty easily. Then I went to the third round, and I was a little scared because it was higher up, and I'm like a little bit afraid of heights. But I did everything up there. And so then the people for the ropes course were like, "Oh, you did everything, didn't you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, should get your picture on the wall because you've done everything at the ropes course." And so I was,
Why?
I, because it's like it was apparently it's really hard to do. I don't know, and not many people do
Y'all
it.
out here
So like,
flexing.
so I got my picture on because I did everything in that ropes course. I literally did everything. I got my picture on the wall, and that was the picture of on the wall. And then like my mom just like kept asking to take pictures. I was probably standing there forever just taking pictures. And
Full of it. He's done.
my mom is pretty much known for being bad with technology. So she was doing, the figuring out how to get the camera set up and how to take the picture and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I was just getting a little tired of it. I was like, all right, let's move on. I don't need my picture
It's
taken.
okay, Shell. You can confess that you asked them to put your picture up on there. It's alright. This is
Yeah,
a
we won't
this is a
take any
judgment-free
lessons
zone.
for
I
it.
just
I've
did
never
all
been
of
back
this.
there
Please
since,
put it up.
so I don't even know if it's still up on the wall or not.
You have to make a
There's
trip
no way.
back to see if it's still there.
Yeah.
Man, the myth, the legend.
We'll
But
hire
yeah,
the investigator to check that out.
that's pretty
Yeah,
much it for
another thing for
Shell.
the investigator.
Yeah, I guess we have 3 things now. So he has.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, one of the rocks of this friend group, F. Getty, the man himself, recently actually lost his horse on the left there. So everyone just send your respects, love to Freddy and his family. I know Freddy had a very special bond with his horse, and just wanted to showcase that, and just Freddy, we love you, and I'm just really sorry for your loss. But
Rest in peace for it.
rest in peace for it.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
But Freddy, like in any space team, anything that he's a part of, he always absolutely wears his heart on his sleeve. He's the first person to sort of scream and shout when
Oh.
something positive happens. He's also the first person to probably scream and shout when something bad happens. But the moral of the story is Freddy is absolutely ride or die, and those are the type of real and authentic people you always want around, and why he always is extremely valuable to any group he's a part of. Second up, Freddy is a hunter. He's ruthless. He quite literally hunts foxes, and no one else in this group can say they've ever hunted a fox before. So that's something special, a special talent that Freddy has. I don't know how particularly relevant it'll be to our tournaments, but
to
if
the
we
gaming.
ever did host a fox hunting tournament,
If we
make
ever
our
do that,
ass.
I am smoking all of you.
I think I've got a
Absolutely
very important
destroyed
question for you, Fred. What
Yeah.
does the fox say? Let's put this to rest.
Mm. Does it say
Um,
something different when it's being hunted? That's the question.
So I think it's mainly a combination of oh shit, here come the hounds, and I think it's like, from my personal perspective, it's like a combination of running and them also playing along with it, if you know what I mean. Like, try to catch me, bitch.
I feel like the foxes might just be running. I don't I don't know if they want to be caught. I think they might just run.
We don't try and catch them. We just chase them.
but if you're a fox, how do you know that you're not trying
Yeah,
to
how do you know that these dogs aren't chasing to kill you?
I mean, I don't know.
And at least one of you has a gun, right?
What is with this
I didn't know
obsession?
this.
We already talked about this.
Well, see, it's just the perspective of, if you're a fox, right? You're not a very intelligent being. You live, eat.
You don't know that.
You kill things to eat. And
Danny,
you
you
see
have
this-
your own
this-
personal problems with
this
foxes.
dog, this dog and a big person on a horse chasing you. I don't think they're gonna play around. I think they're just running to run.
Is this
That's just me.
is this just turning into a grilling session about the sport I do?
That's not grilling.
No, we're just curious
No.
about it and why it's
Yeah.
I don't
why it's the
know.
way it is.
I know we're chasing them, and I'm sure they are scared, but at the same time, I feel like the fact that it's been going on for so long, I feel like they just like get into it too. I don't know.
I mean,
That's-
maybe some of the how long? I don't know how long a fox lives, so I don't know if you're chasing the same foxes every time or what goes on with that. But
Usually
yeah,
probably the same ones. The dens are always the same.
okay.
So they're just like your
Then
little
maybe.
fox. They're your little fox homies. They know what's up.
Fox homies. Then maybe they know what's up.
They're like,
They
oh
tell their
shit,
kids,
it's
"Look out
Saturday
for the
again.
dog and horse guy."
I will say, if you gave him a treat or something, then you wouldn't have to chase him very long.
I don't think foxes do treats.
I don't. You throw him like a dead squirrel or a dead
We-
rabbit or something. They'll be pretty happy.
My one of my family members actually like goes around in the woods area and like puts out like raw chicken for them to eat and stuff. So
Okay, so they do treats.
That's nice. It's this is a more
It's a
positive
token
portrayal
appreciation.
of fox hunting than I was anticipating. But
oh, you just thought it was gonna be all negatives, huh?
well, I didn't know that there was sort of like give and take. It's kind of like you guys are doing a little comedy routine. I don't know, like put like what's the funny saxophone song? Like the dun 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 dun.
Yeah,
dun.
yeah. I will say for anyone who doesn't know what they wear when they fox hunt, please look it up. It is great.
Well,
It
I
is
don't want to look it
very-
up because I'm just picturing them covered in chicken breasts, so that it lures the fox in.
It's very formal, very British origin type wear. Because it is originally a British sport, but they're riding out there like the redcoats. A few of them.
I wanna
They're
host.
called pink.
We should, Freddy. Have you ever played polo? I feel like
No-
that's a
no, but I
similar
want-
vibe.
No, but I want to. It looks like fun.
That's what. All right, one of the events, boys. We're running. We're all gonna get on a horse.
No, I want to host a 1v1 duel in fox hunting where Freddy goes through all the things. He's got, like the 20 hounds going. He can have as many resources as he wants. And then we just load up Shell with raw chicken. all over him.
And then
And
Shell
we
runs
see,
around with
we
her
see,
rod.
who,
But hold
we
on,
see who
here's
catches
the
more
thing.
foxes.
Here's the thing: if Shell's running around with raw chicken, the hounds are gonna like chase him instead.
Shell's gonna catch foxes and hounds. He's gonna be the
Should
winner.
is do I get the fox first or do the hounds get me first?
Oh, the hounds are gonna get you from a mile away. I'm sorry. No matter what you do, they're gonna get you, Shell.
Shell's just running through the forest looking for foxes with raw chicken as he gets chased by dogs.
You guys are just going to end up thinking that Shell's a fox and hunting him instead.
That's exactly what I would want, because then I have more time to find the fox
I
myself.
mean, if you ask the foxes, it's a good time, apparently. But
I guess so.
I just be the savior of
to
the foxes.
going on to the final point, Freddy is an absolute grinder of video games, especially the challenge side of video games, which is something I personally can't really relate to and understand, but I do respect it. Like the sheer amount of cosmetics that Freddy has accumulated in Fortnite and the amount of like work and effort he's put in to get them is, it's genuinely impressive. And I think a true feat of mentality that I don't have. So, as always, for that, Freddy, props to you. And I know it serves you well, and especially in Fortnite, he's a lethal force.
Yeah,
So-
grinder through and through. Like just. We played Fortnite last night, and he was like the max level and had all the skins. So, we haven't played Fortnite in ages. So the kid still grinds without us.
Yeah. I've gotten max tier every season since season 5 of the first chapter. That was like 2017.
Long time. That's a
That
long
is
time
that is
ago.
the grind.
I think that was peak Austin and I playing in Fortnite tournaments, and the FNCSs was that year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was
Mm.
rooting you guys on. You guys were so close.
Freddy, you can grind all the challenges you want, but I will always be the king of retail row.
I know, but you can have retail row if it ever comes back. Although
Austin is the king.
you have claim to Rita Oro, but Jaco has claim to
Coney.
God, Coney. Thank you, Coney, whatever it is. But I will also put in a little tidbit here. Austin used to semi grind for Fortnite as well, and it was coming towards the end of the season one year, and I think he was so close to finishing it, and we sort of came to a mutual agreement for me to get the final tiers of his account getting up.
He,
I
he
I
gave
grinded.
Freddy his account info to grind for him. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I got him up to tier 120 in like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I think the crazy thing is that you wanted to do that more than I wanted the stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Freddy was like, yeah, just like, I definitely want to do it. I was just like, I'm kind of impartial. Like, some of these skins are cool, but like, you don't have to go out of your way to do that. And Freddy was like, I want to. And then
Give me
it
that.
happened.
And then we got into this whole conversation about me being a pirate.
Oh man,
I don't remember that, but that's probably
That was an Austin and I thing.
That
I
is
was a
probably
pirate
true.
apparently.
Oh man, I think we got to tie a bow on it, or else we're gonna go into the Freddy
Yeah,
grind
yeah.
set
Yeah.
for the next 2 hours. Let's see who we got next.
Yeah, so next is Hamilton, the live haddock 7426 hammy. Just looking like a true king in these photos. So for the first bullet point, enforcer, the man is a hulking beast. The kid is like 6'3". I don't know how much he weighs, but it's like he's a unit.
400 pounds.
400 pounds of pure muscle mass.
Last I talked to him, he had hit 200.
Oh, well, there you go. There's that answer. The kid does a lot of stuff physically. I don't know if he still does this, but he used to run marathons and train for like Ironmans, half Ironmans, all that stuff. Which is what that photo is him doing on the left, just not looking tired at all, just grinding it out through the cold running season that it is. But yeah, he does that. He's also currently a part of a semi-pro soccer team where he lives, playing as a goalie. And he's been playing goalie since we were in middle school, so he's really good to that extent. But he also rides a bike, I'm pretty sure, or he used to. He's done a lot of stuff. The kid is an athletic freak. He does something almost like every day athletically.
Yeah, he is a unit, to be sure, and he might be the best picture taker of the group, as I have probably 10 more pictures than the little ones you see of just the most photogenic person you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah, my favorite picture. Yeah, my favorite picture of him is that, and I think you all know this picture. Wintergreen. You all know what it is.
The one of him like all swollen up.
Yep, the picture he posted on his Instagram the day after he went to Wintergreen and collided with an old woman on the ski slope.
Yeah, that's that he may have given himself a concussion and broken her arm, but that's one of the key reasons I look at him as an enforcer, is because
Yeah.
I mean that woman was in his way. And
Yeah.
Hamilton's the type of guy who's not going to let, just because you're probably like 60 years old, maybe older, have gray hair, are not moving on your skis, are completely stationary. Hamilton's not about to let you just get away with, being in his route. So
Yeah, he's gonna hurt me for mentioning that story for sure.
He definitely, he's a lad who occasionally will pick up a lad and try and remove them to the outdoors of a party every now and then as well. He'll throw his body around, a couple drinks get in him sometimes.
Yeah. So speaking about throwing his body around, the next bullet point is headlocks. So I have been on the receiving end of these many times. Whenever you upset him or maybe just slight, or you're having too much fun, the kid is prone to throwing you in a headlock. It's like I said, been in one many times. I'm not sure how many times you've been in one. The kid's got a fierce grip to it. He will not let you go no matter what you do. And one time I feared for my life about it. So Yeah,
He,
just try to avoid at all costs.
most of the time he does it very, very playfully. And if you put this man in a pool, the headlocks are coming out. That's prime real
yeah.
estate for
Yeah, the
headlock
pool.
Hamilton. But a lot of the time it's always joking from him. But he was and always has been a fan of the good old headlock. And the next point that goes with it, he is giggling the whole time that
Oh,
you're
yeah.
in a headlock. It is menacing.
Yeah, this going to the final point, the giggle. Hamilton has the most iconic laugh I have ever heard in my life. It's one of the things I associate most with him is that giggle. I can't do it myself because I'd be doing it a disservice. In these upcoming tournaments that he will be a part of with us, if you listen closely, you will hear him laughing, and it's a treat to hear. It's one of the best laughs I've ever heard, and just thinking about it makes me it just makes me laugh every time. It's amazing, that laugh of his.
All right, Danny, give us your best Hamilton.
Oh, dude, I can't do the Hamilton giggle.
See, no one can. It's so unique.
I feel
and
like
so
I go
good.
too deep with it.
You know, I feel like I could, but I'm pretty sure the last time I did it, he put me in a headlock.
Yeah.
That's probably true.
That is a factor.
You know, like Freddy said, you'll hear it in the tournaments eventually. But if you imagine a grown man giggling in your ear like a child as he headlocks you, that's the right vibe to have.
Yeah.
It is, and it's just pure bliss. He's just giggling his heart out.
I could give it my best impression.
Yeah, give it your best
But I'm
shot.
probably gonna get in a headlock later for this.
You're 100% getting a headlock.
So
He's gonna
it's
hear
like-
this and he's
it's
gonna
like-
put you in a headlock.
It's kind of like.
That's not even that good. Nope,
All
you're
right, all right.
headlocked.
Now
I
that
can't
the
do
cat's
it.
out of the
I don't know.
bag, Shell did it first, so I'm gonna try. It's like,
Dude, Austin's interpretation's always the same.
That was like
got put in the headlock. He sounds like,
it's like a,
hey,
it's like
hey,
a
hey.
TV character.
Yeah, exactly. You guys sound like
Who does it's Fat Albert? That's who does the hey
Yeah.
hey hey, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like a less
like a-
deep version of. That's actually not terrible. That's not terrible.
It,
I
it
feel
can
like
be better.
I feel like
'cause
you're
he
not
doesn't say
using your
he.
I feel like you're not using your throat enough, Shell.
I don't know. I'm trying to do it. It's like really rough.
Show you're gonna get
That's it.
so headlocked.
Oh yeah,
Not the cat
I'm
go
aware.
first.
I've
Oh,
got-
and
I
one-
know it's coming.
One final note about Hamilton. He is constantly smiling. It's crazy. Every time you see him, he's smiling, and it's shocking how much he smiles.
I mean, look at
Most
that
of the time,
picture,
it's
though.
a
Still has
mischievous
braces
grin.
now.
Mm-hmm.
When did he got his braces off in like junior year of college or something? Like, it was late.
No,
Like,
he didn't.
Well,
No, he got it
them
off earlier.
No, that's right. He got them off early, and then he had to put them back on because he ran
Yeah.
into a lady.
Yep.
And then he got them
on
back
the
off freshman
when he
year
was
of college.
skiing.
He got
Oh,
him
I
off
forgot about
right
that.
like he got him off a few
Yeah.
weeks before he went skiing, and then
Yeah.
the lady messed him up
Yeah,
so bad.
Senior
that
year of
he
high
didn't
school,
get
he
'em
got
back
him
on.
off, and then he had to
Yeah.
put him back on until I think the end of that year, or like the beginning of college.
I think it was like
That was-
he already wore him for like 3-4 years, and then he finally was free, and he had to put him back on. Either way,
Yeah.
it was a very very long time to wear braces.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But
that is right. That is right. It wasn't too long, but it was long.
yeah, that's all. That's pretty much everything I got for Ham right now. Moving on to the next person, and damn, we got an absolute player here.
Yeah, I guess actually, I don't have the PowerPoint in a view where I can see who's next, but this is me.
It is Colin.
Yeah,
Colin.
no, yeah.
Colin is next.
Colin.
Colin is next. Yeah, I'm just saying I'm the person who's supposed to be doing it. But so Colin actually, he may not let it off, but the man is an actual rocket scientist. He
Mhm.
literally went to school for aerospace engineering, and that face he makes in the picture on the left is the same face he makes every time he sees a rocket. It makes him want to blast off. But he also is, I hate the pun, so I didn't do it. But he's a firm believer, and that's spelled BILLIEVER. Lifelong Bills fan, and that's actually his favorite picture of himself. If you ever run into Colin on the street, he almost always has it up on his phone and is just like trying to show people how much he loves that picture and is very happy that I still have access to it. It's just, something he's very, very proud of.
A
And
ride or die Bills Mafia.
ride or die. And he's the creator of my favorite national holiday, Manatee Day.
Yes, Manatee Day.
And the origin of that is a young Colin, I think, like late middle school, early high school, had just installed Twitter. And my theory is that he didn't quite understand what Twitter was for and got really excited, was on a pier, saw a manatee right next to the pier, which is, just quite the sight to see. Have any of you ever seen a manatee before? In
No,
person?
can't say I have.
I have seen a manatee in person.
You have,
I have
Shell?
also seen a I
Yeah.
have seen a manatee in person.
They're
too.
they're the sea.
Austin,
They're the cows of the
have
sea.
you?
I don't think I've
Austin,
ever
have
seen a
you?
manatee in person,
Okay.
especially not in the wild.
I didn't want to
Not
be
in
the
the
only
wild.
one not
Oh,
seeing
not in
it.
the wild, like at a zoo or an aquarium.
Yeah. So
okay.
he saw this just like on a dock, like a manatee right next to it. And so, understandably excited as I would be, he thought, what's the best way I can share this moment? And having, recently installed Twitter, not having any tweets, he decided to post a picture of the manatee just captioned manatee. which just like could not be further from how you use Twitter. But
Beautiful.
you can understand
Beautiful.
how the emotion in the moment overcame. And so for a little while every year I would, make a big deal of trying to get as many people to retweet manatee as possible to see if I could make it go viral and see if I could change the Twitterscape forever, where everyone's just posting pictures with one word captions. It never caught on, but every year, I think it's April 19th, around that time. No, it's definitely in March. There's some day of the year we celebrate Manatee Day, and that's all thanks to Colin.
Someday, one of the days in the year is Manatee Day.
Fellas, I have made a discovery here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Colin in that picture on the left. You
Okay.
guys ever seen the show Little Einsteins when you were
Yes.
children? The main
Yes.
character, if you take the glasses off of him, looks exactly like Colin. Austin, if you're going live with the PowerPoint, I could post it in there.
Okay, yeah. If you
Hold
want to
on.
slide it into the next slide, I can flip to it.
Is it on Colin's slide or the next one?
You can put it after the slide of Colin.
Oh my gosh!
You guys changed the hair color, but he's got the look. He's got
There's
the
no
hairstyle.
way.
You can also just put it on top of the Colin slide, whatever is easiest.
Oh, I was gonna. Okay, I'll do that. It's probably better.
He's got the hairstyle. Just put a hood
Oh.
on this kid and change the color of the hair, and you've got it. And has duplicated it and then deleted both of them.
Paste. Oh, is it up there? I don't know what's happening. All right.
Well, you had it on the other two slides, but then
Yeah.
you deleted the other two slides.
I
Because I
cannot
wanted to
see
put
it.
it on.
I don't know if it'll mix well with the background.
I can't. It's not letting me edit this. All right, I'm just gonna go make a new slide.
This is
Alright.
seamless.
Oh yeah, there
This
we go.
is
Wait, go to the next slide, Austin.
It's just a white screen for me.
It hasn't updated.
I see the clip art on mine. It's basically
I
clip art.
I got it up now, and I'm just gonna flip back and forth between the two of them.
Put a hood on Colin and then change this guy's hair, and that's him.
Wow, you're right, Shell. This is incredible.
He's flying off on a rocket.
and he loves space.
And it's a rocket. Yeah. I mean,
He's a rocketeer. He's a spaceship man. All right, sorry. When you mentioned the part about him liking rockets, that just came to mind. My bad.
No, thank you. That really rounds out Colin as a person, Shell. So thank you for that. But that'll take us to our next member.
So the next one will be Garrett. I've been playing personally video games with Garrett since I was a child. So we've played a lot of games together throughout the years. I've known him since we both were like 3. So We have a long-standing relationship of gaming together, and I could definitely say he's probably one of the most confident gamers I've ever met, and definitely the most confident person in this group in his gaming ability. In general, he's a very confident person. He's one of the smartest people I've ever met. Doing a little pre-med track, getting mad if he doesn't have a 4.0, which he never doesn't have a 4.0 in college right now, and doing pre-med. His gaming ability is a very similar caliber, especially in shooters. He is a very good gamer when it comes to shooters. COD is his game. If we ever do a COD tournament, Garrett will absolutely wipe the floor with anyone, even myself included. He has the consistency across games that makes him dangerous in any tournament. He's probably one of the top guys. If in Fall Guys tournament coming up, the big fall, he's definitely a dangerous one. Not a shooter game, but he's still a very good gamer in that respect. He is also a gigantic metalhead, and he's the only one of the group, but he is a massive metalhead. He did just play. He's not a big like one for playing in a concert or performing, but he did get called up to perform for about an hour and a half at a small concert this past weekend, which he was super happy about. So that's the kind of how much he's into metalhead. He got on stage and did a bunch of screamo, and lost his voice pretty much, but he that's definitely a big part of him and his personality, as you can see from the picture on the right, especially the shirt. And then the last point, Carrot, he's the only redheaded in the group, and the picture on the right, you can kind of see how long his hair is. He tends to wear that hair in a bun on the top of his head now, and that hair stretches past his shoulders now. So he's got some luscious red locks, and I think Carrot is just a great way to describe the only redhead member of our group.
He's kind of like a reverse Carrot, though. The more I think about it,
He is a little bit,
because it's
yeah.
like carrots, are
Yeah.
orange on the top, and they got the little truffle up top. He's got, the rest of his body is an orange. That's not what we're referring to when we say carrot, but his
Yeah,
little
just the top.
truffle at the top is. So he's like a reverse
He's got the
carrot.
little truffle.
He's a Tarak.
We'll go with Tarak. Yes.
That sounds like a dinosaur.
Yeah.
No,
Tyrannosaurus.
it sounds like a creature.
Tyrannosaurus.
It sounds like a creature out of Magic the Gathering, Danny, doesn't it?
There's the closest thing would be the Tarask, but yeah, he also giant Magic player, probably one of the could, if he wanted to be, one of the better players in the US for it. He's going to go to some tournaments soon, but the kid can play Magic. The kid has a very, very good memory.
Yeah, I think he's also ranked pretty highly in the Lord of the Rings tabletop game. He told me he went to like this big tournament or whatever and like almost won the whole thing. So
Yeah, he's a big Lord of the Rings nerd. He loves Magic. He loves tabletop games. Freddy himself too is also a huge Lord of the Rings nerd. We got a couple of those in this group. But he's just a gamer through and through. Video games, tabletop games. He likes it all.
he's also the
That's-
nicest guy imaginable in the world.
No, he is an incredibly nice person. Always looking out for others. Always ready to talk to people if they have some issues. Especially, recently he's been reaching out to people to talk to if they have any problems. But that's pretty much it for him. If we want to move on to the next person, for Shell
Oh.
here.
Oh, we're
Yep.
looking forward to this one.
So we've got my man's Jacob, or Jaco, as you will hear us all call him by. And every time I get on the phone or in a call with him for the first time, I call him Jacoby Bryant. It's just my special little nickname for him because he doesn't miss. If you could see all these bullet points here, each one of these is a coined phrase by him for his team, because we talked about being a Vibe Master before, but this guy is on the same level as me, if not higher, in my opinion. He's absolutely there for the vibes and is an absolutely attractive man. I mean, look at those pictures of him. He just looks so good. So we could go into each of these bullet points a little bit more and what each of them mean. Lethal is something he'll throw out there when you're absolutely on point and you're playing very well. Um, even if it's just like the premonition of you about to play well, you're still lethal, and you're gonna show your lethality. Um, he's used that quite a bit and uses it as as something to hype up his team, and is really good at keeping his team level headed. Um, Huzzy, I'm not too sure what it means. It's kind of like an insult that you throw at someone, but doesn't really mean anything.
You huzzy.
It's like they did something. If like in Fall Guys, someone grabs you and you get thrown off the map or something because of it. It's like you call them a huzzy. But what does it mean? I don't really know. I don't know if we'll ever figure out what it actually means.
It's
But we
a old-fashioned term for like a very flirtatious, I guess, like in the context of how it was used in the past, woman. But I don't think that's very important. It's just, someone who's a bit of a flirt, someone who's very brazen, and I think that part of the reason why he might throw it out so much is just to sort of deflect from his own huzzy nature. Because I don't know
He's
about you guys,
projecting.
but the way he's looking at me in that picture on the left,
Oh yeah,
there's-
God,
that's a person who's got a little bit of a flirtatious side to him.
Deflecting
I
from
love-
his own.
I love the picture on the right. He must be looking at something quite amazing there. He is absolutely astounded. And then we go to the last bullet point, which is Tookus, which is another way you can say this is a derriere or a bottom. He doesn't really throw it out as a butt or anything like that, but he just kind of throws it out there like you're being a Tookus, or like kind of like a pain in the butt. You're being a pain in the butt or something like that.
Yeah, that's one we hadn't heard for a while until he brought it back last night. He brought the Tookus
Yeah.
back. That was a great
Yeah,
surprise.
and I will say I think a part of that was from the influence of Eric, who's been picking up his mannerisms a little bit.
We'll
that I've
get to
noticed.
him.
Yeah, we haven't covered
We'll
We'll
Eric
get
get
to
to
yet,
him. We'll get
but
to
he
him.
is very much copying the Jacob lingo of Huzzy and Tookus. But one thing about Jacob that definitely needs to be said is if you need a speech from a man
Oh God,
to
yeah.
hype up the boys,
Oh God.
Jacob's your man. There's no man better to give you a speech to get you ready to run through a brick wall than this man.
He does like to quote "The Art of War" by Sun Tzu quite a bit.
There's just no man quite like him in giving a pep speech. We've gotten many from him, whether it be, for a game we're playing or in person. He's always ready to give an inspiring speech to the boys.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
and
think
with that, I think yeah,
that's
we
Jacob.
can move on.
Yeah.
Real quick, I have to say this. Jaco is Austin's friend from school, but he and I also share a close bond since we're from the same hometown, which we only found out like junior year of college when I first met him.
It was a magical moment. Freddy and Jacob probably spent about an hour straight at a party just naming people and being like, you know them? The other person being like, yeah, know them. Just back and forth. It was a true small town Americana moment. It was a beautiful kinship formed immediately.
It's a small world out here.
But next person we have is David, also
The
known
one and
as
only.
the one true Bagel. And you might think that those two pictures were taken on the same day, like maybe he was asleep on the ground, and then he moved to the car and fell asleep there wearing the same shirt. But no, those pictures are about 4 years in between each other, and just represent the legacy of Party Dave. He is I think I was trying to think of the best word for Dave, and I think like menace is good. Like there's kind of like a little bit like Dave likes to get under your skin, and it's at that point it's on you whether or not you let him, because he's gonna do it. But he's very, very effective at just sort of like just like giving just like the most ridiculous takes, which just kind of make you question everything and kind of irritate you. But he also knows like in game how to just push your buttons that little bit just to turn things into his favor.
Yeah, he probably is the biggest trash talker of the group, and very easily gets under some people's skin within our little collective of boys here. He definitely has the ability to trash talk with the best of them. He also kind of wiggles his way under with the outrageous takes. For a long time,
Oh, no, you're right.
David, he longtime Vikings fan. I think in high school he probably lost $200 to us making
Every bet.
outrageous Viking bets. And he is a man of word. He always stood by. He always paid his dues. But he's definitely one for outrageous claims and some of the stuff. He's from Minnesota. He has a lot of the mannerisms. He says bagel instead of bagel, as Austin said earlier. In his name, he is the one true bagel, not the one true bagel, as he would say. He definitely, one of the more infuriating ones for myself is apparently in Minnesota it's not duck duck goose, it's duck duck gray duck.
Oh
And,
yeah,
that might be my least favorite thing.
I forgot
I've
about
heard in my
that.
life.
I will say one thing about him getting under your skin is if you like confront him about him trash talking you, he'll deny it. And he'll just absolutely
Yeah.
deny it and be like, "What are you talking about? I'm not trash talking.
I'm not trash talking. I'm just playing the game.
Yeah."
Which is just another form of psychological warfare.
Oh, yeah.
that he employs perfectly. It's all very calculated, and just the sooner you can recognize that, the sooner you can stop from falling prey to it. Because if you just let the emotion take over, he's gonna get you. And especially when you combine that with his talent, especially in shooter titles.
Yeah, and I mean even some of the characters he plays, Tracer is one of the most annoying characters in Overwatch. As someone who plays Overwatch a lot, that's an annoying character, and that's David's bread and butter. Just popping up, doing a bunch of damage, running away. It fits his psychological warfare perfectly, and he truly is a very good player in shooter games.
Yeah.
So he's he's definitely up there amongst one of the better players.
I will also quickly mention that, like Shell and also myself, because I've played a little bit of this too, he is also a hardened veteran of the League of Legends.
Yes,
which we have also talked about potentially inputting into this format, maybe. But and also he's been playing a lot of Valorant with Austin and some of the other lads too. So he's a fiend for competitive games, and I'm nervous for some of these future ideas that we have for sure.
He sold his soul to the League of Legends.
Yes, he did.
Demons.
Yes, he did.
He got it back though.
Shell, yeah, but
He's
Shell,
back.
we also sold ours, and we got ours back.
Yeah, but he was deep. He was deep.
He was. He was in the what is it, the 9 levels of hell that he got sucked into?
Yeah, he made it to like diamond, like high diamond in League of Legends, which
consists of
30-minute queue timers.
Yeah,
30-minute to 45-minute just waiting to get into a game. So
I do know from the last tournament, he was on my team for the last tournament, so I had a lot of talking with him. He did adorn that purple shirt for the last tournament that we played in No Consolation. He saw those 2 pictures come up for his player profile when we were talking about that, and he said, "I have that shirt in my closet. I'm putting it on." And he did indeed send a picture. He did put the shirt on for the tournament.
I will quickly say that the picture on the left is the second time he recreated the photo. The picture on the right is the original. I took that picture. I am the creator of the Party Dave picture.
Legend. But I think that's Dave in a nutshell. And I think we move on to our final member. One of the later arrivals to our group, but a man who has very much made his mark on all of us, for better or for worse. Mm-hmm. And that is Eric.
It's still up in debate. It's still up to debate which one it is.
the calamity toucher himself. Um, Dave intentionally gets under your skin with the way he plays. Eric, I would say it's unintentional, and it's not, to the opposing team. It's very often to his own team, just because, he plays his own game. The other people, even his own teammates, are kind of, I think, also just obstacles in the way for Eric to play his own game. And so, depending on whatever title you're playing, that can be a good thing or a bad thing. I haven't played a lot of Dead by Daylight, but it sounds like that kind of works for him, because I think that's more of like an individual game where, that sort of mentality of just sort of following the objective, like with, complete blinders on, blocking anything else is a good thing. But in games like Rocket League, it can be torturous to play on Eric's team, because he will just hit the ball no matter which direction he's facing. He doesn't even know what color the teams are. And I'd be lying if I said every now and then he hasn't made me rage a little bit.
Yeah, I can't play on his team in Rocket League anymore. He has scarred my person with own goals and uh bumps on the same team. He plays exclusively on ball cam, and Eric is that's a shiny object I want type of guy. So he only looks at the ball when he plays Rocket League in ball cam. So that's why he doesn't know the color of his team. Sometimes scores own goals that way. But otherwise, he also doesn't know where the people are. So he often runs into his own teammates going to get boost because he's not looking at anything other than the shining ball in the sky. And that's definitely, he can make really good plays in Rocket League. He can make really good plays in Overwatch and some of these other games, but there's also that chance that he'll just kind of turn the switch off in his brain and go on autopilot, and he's going wherever he wants to go. And but he is a Dead by Daylight prodigy, and he's probably one of the best Dead by Daylight players in the world. He he has put an absurd amount of hours in that. That's his game, and it definitely fits the play style of worrying about himself the best.
Yeah, I'm playing a co-op game with Eric called It Takes Two, and we had a skill check section where we were facing off against each other, and I stood absolutely no chance.
It's a fantastic game. But
Yeah.
yeah, if there's anything there's a little spinny circle, he's gonna kick your ass.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened.
That's his bread and butter.
And that kind of leads us to our second point, where, shiny objects, Eric, I think, just in general brings a positive attitude, as long as there is a shiny object to look at and just sort of something to focus on and just put all of his essence into. And he brings a positive vibe to the teams he's a part of. Even when people get frustrated, Eric doesn't let it get to him, and continues to be a positive force. So it makes it really easy to sort of forgive him and forget and just sort of move forward. And he's a big asset in that sense. And any time where, by circumstance or by himself, he's able to hone himself in and focus, he's an absolute animal. But that's hard to do, which takes us to the final point. He's a wild card. You don't know whether you're going to get sort of the hyperbolic high performance of, destroying Shell and in that game, or he's going to make you just put your head in your hands, and you never know which card's going to get put down on the table.
Yeah, I mean, he's scored winning goals before. In a tragedy that Jacob and I will never remember. He also has blown a 6-3 lead, and lost the game for us in overtime from purely own goals. He scored 4 own goals in a row, with a minute left when we were up 6-3, and that's he can score the winning goal, or he can absolutely break your heart. Never gonna recover from that one either.
Yeah, but I think that closes out our player profiles pretty smoothly. I understand. I think Freddy has got to dip out, and we've been going for much longer than we anticipated. But that's the way of the road.
Way
sometimes.
of the road. Yeah.
So
Way of the road, sir.
We'll go back to the cams just to close out. Anyone got any like final notes or things to sort of look forward to?
I mean, I'm excited to, continue with this, to really start going. I think this is a good, uh, way to lay out, the lads, and I think it encapsulates pretty much the best of everyone, and a little bit of the negatives of everyone. Um, but I mean, we have a really fun slate ahead of us, and I just look forward. I mean, we have some good ideas, and it'll be interesting to see how the group does with some of these tournaments.
I for one am super excited for the first event, the big fall, baby.
Big
Because
fall.
I think that's gonna be interesting. Because I know we've stated that Garrett is might be the biggest prospect, but I think it's a game where people can shine, even if they're not as skilled. If they have a good round, that's all they need.
Yeah, and there's definitely more of an RNG element to Fall Guys more so than Rocket League, especially, and most of the other games we played. So I think it's gonna be a wild ride. I genuinely don't know what's gonna happen, but Danny, Garrett, Eric are probably the top competitors going in. But depending on how the team works out, you never know if there's a magical chemistry that will be found. And it's just gonna be a fun event. I think we have it slated for next Saturday, the
Yeah,
11th
the 11th.
The
Yeah,
at
11th.
2 in the afternoon.
yeah,
It is going to be live on Twitch. Our Twitch is just twitch.tv/no consolation. Um, and we'll have like follow-up stuff, like the VOD will get posted to YouTube. We'll might make some clips out of the best moments and stuff. I don't know. We're playing it by ear. It's a new project for us, but regardless, I think everything about it's going to be a lot of fun.
yeah. You'll finally you'll see everyone. You'll get to hear a decent amount of banter. The boys like to talk, so that should be a really fun aspect too.
Yeah, but
Hmm.
that closes down shop for NCP episode 1. Thank you to anyone who listened to any point of that. A special thank you to anyone who is still listening. I understand we probably rambled a little bit there, but all in the name of good vibes. So we will see you for the event next Saturday, and we will see y'all on the next episode of NCP. Peace.